How are you feeling about sharing information on the program with our attendees today? I'll start with you, Stanley.
I'm feeling very excited. It's one of those rare opportunities to have this many number of people and to be able to share this knowledge. So definitely looking forward to a very engaging session.
Fantastic. Thank you, Stanley. I'm going to start with our Absa team on the call and then go to the Bongo Hive team. Monje, how are you feeling?
I'm excited. It's good to finally have this rolled out and get everybody else on board and excited about being potential traders in the future.
Fantastic, thank you. Salorm, Lessa.
All right, I'm excited as well. I'm looking forward to a productive session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you, Lessa. Salorm?
It's actually good to finally see this kickoff and moving from the planning stages into fruition. So yes, looking forward to a productive session as well.
Thank you. And now over to the Bongo Hive team. Simonza, how are you feeling? We've been talking a lot about the Future Traders program. How are you feeling about being part of the information session today?
Hey, Zakai, and hey, everybody. Definitely excited and looking forward to an amazing session. It's always good to meet with people's passion to help people create a clear path for themselves in their for their future. And I guess the program is aptly named and definitely looking forward to the engagement.
Fantastic. Thank you, Simonza. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, for registering and being here. It's been exciting to see how passionate you are about being future traders and exploring what new career opportunities exist for you. And so we've created this information session for anybody that is interested in participating in the Future Traders program and anybody that is interested in Absa in general and Bongo Hive, and you want to learn more about these two teams. You want to hear from Absa about why future traders. That's why we created this session for you today. So we're going to go ahead and get started, but I'll just reiterate that if you have any questions and you're joining us here on Zoom, please make use of the Q&A button. So you find that between the participants button and the chat button. So don't wait until we're in the Q&A session to ask your questions. You can post your questions now. We will start with the first question that is posted, so try and post your question as soon as possible. If you're joining us via Facebook, please post your questions in the comment section and our team will share those with us to have those responded to. But welcome everybody, welcome to the Future Traders Program information session. As I've mentioned, this is a space for us to answer some of your most burning questions and give you a bit of an idea of why we created this program. And so I'm going to be your moderator for the session throughout today. My name is Sekai Fundafunda Lungu and I'm Innovation Lead at Bongo Hive. So I will be taking you through the program a little later, but at this point, I'm going to invite Simunza Muyangana, who is one of our co-founders and the Director of Entrepreneurship at Bongo Hive, to share a bit of a message from Bongo Hive with us. That will be followed by a message from Stanley Kawemetamele, who's the Head of Global Markets at Absa. Then you'll learn more about this program. What is it all about? What can you expect to find? What are the benefits? We've been getting questions about benefits, and we'll share those with you. And then we will get to your questions during the Q&A session and close the program. So now I will hand over to Simonza, that's going to tell us a bit about Bongo Hive and why he's so excited about the Future Traders program. Simonza?
Thank you, Sekai. Hi, everybody. My name is Simonza Muyangana, and as Sekai said, I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship at Bongo Hive. The Absa Future Traders program is an exciting opportunity and fits in well with our mission at Bongo Hive to work with great minds that are creating viable products that will change the world. And whilst we traditionally think of these people as entrepreneurs, we realize that within organizations, you have what you call intrapreneurs, people who drive the organization forward by being creative and understanding what the mission of the organization is and adding value to the organization in getting it to achieve its vision and its mission and deliver value towards its customers. For every person who's trying to get a career, I think that's something important that we all need to learn, is how do we join places and drive value within those places. And I think a career opportunity like the global trade platform that Absa is now going to expose a number of you to is an opportunity to understand who is the customer that works within Absa and why do they place their money, keep their money safe and trust Absa to keep their money safe. But more important than that is that what happens to help them grow their money. And in the process of growing their money, what are the conditions around the world that may have an impact on the growth of that money? And so to do this, we were delighted to have Absa get into a conversation that says that, and working with that idea to connect with people and find out people who'd be excited about this opportunity of understanding how global finance works and how they can help customers around the world realize the value of saving their money or growing their money alongside a wealthy institution like Absa. Over the next, those of you that will get into the program will witness growth and will witness the opportunity to get to a place where you can not only understand it, but hope that it inspires you and encourages you to consider this as a career for your future. I would like to hand back to, at this point, I'd like to hand back to Sekai and just certainly look forward to seeing your applications and your engagement within this platform, even as you learn about what is going to happen. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Simonza. Thank you for sharing why we're so excited as Bongo Hive to be a part of this program. And now we want to hear from Absa, who are the reason that we have this program to begin with. And to do that, we are going to Tamele, who, as I mentioned, is the head of global markets at Absa Bank Zambia. And he will be telling us a bit more about Absa, as well as the global markets team, which is the team driving this initiative. And so I'd now like to welcome Stanley to let us know about the Future Traders program and why we decided to launch this student-focused program. Stanley?
Thank you very much, Sekai, and good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a great pleasure to be speaking to all of you, on this occasion. I certainly am excited on many fronts. And before I actually go into telling you about, trading, about Absa, and about why we're running this program, let me start off by actually saying that, you're very lucky to have this opportunity to be able to hear from, this partnership between Absa and Bongo Hive, because I recall almost 20 years ago when I was about to embark on this journey. At that time, there weren't any such opportunities, and getting into a trading environment then at the beginning of, when the turn of the century, when we were just getting into 2000, it was very different in terms of what was available to us, what we were exposed to. And so it was, it was one of those where you get into this area where you know nothing about, have no clue about, but you see it on TV and you're like, that's where I would like to be. So we didn't have that privilege, but you guys will have it, which will even make you better rounded and better informed into getting into a program such as dealing or trading. So to begin with, let me start by talking about Absa. So Absa is a Pan-African bank, and Absa, as we know it today, essentially came from a sell down of what was Barclays Africa. A number of you may have been aware of Barclays. Barclays in Zambia was around for about 100 years, and right across Africa in the range of between 100 to 105 years. But due to an investment decision and the change in shareholding, Barclays Group reduced their shareholding in Barclays Africa, and Absa as we used to know it, the South African bank increased its shareholding in the same and became a majority shareholder. So as we speak, Barclays is a shareholder in the Absa business that you see, but they're a minority shareholder, holding just about 14%. The majority shareholder is Absa. And with Absa being the majority shareholder, we had to rebrand. We went on a rebranding exercise over the last 2 years, and we are fully Absa now, and that's the rate that you see. We are a full commercial bank in Zambia, employing over 700 people. And in the Africa business, we employ over 42,000 staff members. This is right across the group. We've got a presence in about 12 countries in Africa and some representative offices in the UK and in the USA. There are plans as we continue to move forward to look at basically our China offering. And we also have non-presence countries. So these are other countries in Africa where we don't have a full presence, but have a representative office. So that's a little bit about Absa and who we are. But basically, in being a full commercial bank, we run the full scale retail, commercial or SME, and also the business banking space. So corporate retail and SME. So that's who we are, Absa. Let's now talk about trading. What is trading? And then I'll tell you about this program, why we're running this program. So trading is a very specialized business or skill. Trading essentially involves, as you would see it in the sense, if you think about a trader in a marketplace, it really involves just the buying and selling of commodities, right? In our case, the commodities that we buy and sell are financial instruments. So essentially things like foreign exchange, fixed income, derivatives, what is called repurchase agreements. So all sorts of financial instruments of that nature. And depending on the market that you're in, they extend as far as possible. In the more advanced markets, they are very, very complex and structured. Products that are traded there. In our market, it's pretty much limited to the ones that I have mentioned because we haven't yet gotten to that point where we get to the same depth as the advanced markets or advanced countries. That's broadly what we do. It is an exciting business and it's very dynamic. It differs from your traditional banking business in the sense that what we do as traders is very markets driven. We follow what's happening in the economy. We follow what's happening with economic indicators, and not just limited to Zambian economy and economic indicators, but also limited to the global landscape, because these affect the prices of the same commodities or the same instruments that we transact in. So in global markets, in Absa, I'm supported by a very, very able and dynamic team of smart young men and women, some of whom will be speaking here, and you'll get a chance to interact with them. They will certainly be taking the questions that you are putting forward. And alongside trading business, the trading business is supported by what we call a sales business, which interacts or interfaces with corporate, retail, and SME clients. And to make sure that we are properly functioning, we also have a governance function as part of global markets. These are the people who ensure that we are in check, that we don't go off board, because our business, the trading business, is a high-risk business, and it's one that you will find to be very exciting. So that really is a little bit about the trading business. It's very dynamic, it's very exciting, and some people actually think and believe that it pays very well. Sometimes I tend to question that, but many people tend to think that. So why this program? And listen, we're very excited to be doing this program. This program is a first for Zambia. That's number one, okay? We're doing this program because we recognize that in terms of the types of skills that are needed for one to be able to, effectively and successfully work as a trader or in a trading environment, the skills are very specialist and they're very few. So as we go into the market, at any given time when we want to hire experienced people, it's very, very difficult, because all that we have is we're just able to either try and find somebody from another bank. It's very difficult to get somebody from the market. And this is one of the things that prompted us to do this program. If we can create that awareness, and of course, this program is not going to end here. You will be told about all the benefits that come through. But as we develop people, build the capacity, put the clarity in people's minds about what this program is, we'll be able to create a pipeline of people who can be hired for to become future traders. You will also note that even as you listen to the news in Zambia, right, the financial news and financial reporting, there aren't that many skills around reporting, especially on financial markets or global markets matters. So this Future Traders program is really to give an overview. And that's why we felt as Absa that it was absolutely crucial to embark on this journey with Bongo Hive and to try and start getting out the talent there, to create that awareness and to have people really get into and understand this program. Trading is ever evolving. It's very, very dynamic. What we were doing 2 years ago is not necessarily what we're doing today, but we have to stay abreast with these particular trends. So with these few remarks, I think let me end here, and I will hand back to Sekai, who will then lead us through the rest of the program. I thank you, and Sekai, back to you.
Thank you, Stanley. Thank you for sharing with us some detail on your team at Absa and why you thought about creating the Future Traders program. And so I hope that everybody that is joining us today, that you've heard that this is about building specialist skills right within the global market. So I hope that as you're thinking about applying, you recognize the benefit that this program could provide. I just want to mention, please use the Q&A section for us to respond to your questions. If they are sent into the chat, we will not be responding to them. So please make use of the Q&A section. If you're joining us via Facebook, we ask that you just post your questions in the comments section and our team will respond to your questions there. And so now I'm going to be taking us through the Future Traders program. So what can you expect? What are the benefits? What's going to happen next? What are some of the dates that you need to keep in mind? And I'm going to be sharing with you a bit of a background. So to layer on top of what Stanley has already mentioned about Absa's thinking behind the Future Traders program, I'm going to be sharing with you a bit more background. So the Future Traders program is designed to proactively introduce students in the economics, accounting, mathematics, and finance-related fields to the possibility of developing a career in global financial markets. It is designed to assist students, and that is you, to collaboratively develop problem-solving and critical thinking, as well as influencing skills, which are all essential for you as you work in the financial market. It is to elevate your understanding as a student of economics, accounting, mathematics, or finance, an understanding of Forex, securities, and banking. It is meant to transformatively, and we mean it when we say this, it is meant to transformatively provide diagnostic tools and therefore help you as a student to develop viable ideas. So the challenges that we face in the economic scenarios presented, and I'll get into this a little bit later. Further to that, students, as part of the Future Traders program, will identify and build profitable and impactful solutions to the real-life challenges identified in these scenarios. So to give you a bit of context, or to give you a bit more detail in as far as how this program will work, we'll start out by the application process that some of you have already submitted. You've already submitted your applications, and there's some of you that are still thinking about how do I apply? And so we have a process, a 2-week process, where we're going to be selecting 15 participants that will take part in the Absa Future Traders program. These 15 participants will go through a 3-day sprint where they're going to be generating solutions to presented financial market scenarios. So once you join the sprint week, you will hear from key Absa members. They'll give you a lot more insight on what the global markets look like today. And then you're going to be presented scenarios and you're going to be asked, look, give us solutions to these challenges that we're facing. And these 15 participants will be split into 5 teams of 3 individuals. So you self-organize and get into teams of 3. In those teams, you will then generate these solutions. And you're going to have only 24 hours to do so. It is a sprint after all. After that, after these 24 hours, your solutions will be graded against criteria that is developed, and one team will come out on top. So this is a team that provides evidence, that is able to articulate what their solution is to the challenges that are presented. The top team will then get one-on-one mentoring with key team members on the Absa Global Markets team, and they'll walk away with a 9,000 kwacha prize that will be split 3 ways. And so this one-on-one mentoring will go over 3 months. You have an opportunity to learn even more about the global markets and the financial team within Absa. How can you grow your own career as a student of mathematics, economics, accounting, or finance? And so this is the process that it's going to take. So how do you apply? So if you have not already, you can visit this link, and I'll ask that Rhoda share that with us in the chat section. For those of you that have no idea how to apply yet, this link will be shared with you in the chat section. It can also be found on the Bongo Hive website and across our social media. So these are some of the dates that you need to be thinking about when you think about the Future Traders program to keep in mind. The application deadline is the 14th of November, 2020. So that is next Saturday. And you have until 11:59 p.m. So you have until 23:59 p.m., 23:59 hours on the 14th of November to submit your applications. We will be selecting participants throughout the week of the 16th. And our sprint week, which is the time when we ask you to provide solutions and to challenge yourselves in your teams, will take place from the 25th to the 27th of November. And on the 27th, we will pick the winning team. And then mentoring will run from December 2020 to March 2020. So I'm going to be taking us through some of the questions that we have already been receiving from some of you. And the first question is, will the participants be required to attend the program in person? So the answer to that is no. This program is a completely virtual program. So you can join and participate from anywhere across Zambia. So as long as you are at a Zambian university in 3rd and 4th year, you can participate in this program. So another question we're getting is, can someone who has already graduated apply? And the answer to that is no, because this program is only open to 3rd and 4th year students at tertiary institutions. The program will run for a 3-day virtual sprint. And if you are selected as the winning team, you will then go on to receive 3 months of mentorship from key members of the global markets team in Absa. We're selecting only 15 students out of all of the applications that we receive, and these will form 5 teams of 3 students each. Some other questions that we are getting is the program open to all students in tertiary institutions worldwide? And the answer to this is, for this pilot, it is only open to students in Zambian tertiary institutions. So if you're at a university across Zambia, you are welcome to apply and participate in the program. We are also getting a lot of questions about, can students who are not studying economics, accounts, mathematics, or finance apply? And the answer, unfortunately for everybody else, is no, because the program is specifically designed for students that are studying any of these 4 courses. So that's economics, accounts, finance, or mathematics. We've also been asked about the benefits. So what do I get out of being a part of the Future Traders program? And like I've already alluded to, you'll be getting 3 months of mentorship, and the team that comes out on top will win a prize that will be split 3 ways amongst the winning team members. And so now we'll go into the Q&A section, which is why we designed this information session, for you to speak directly to the team that's designed this program and ask any of your burning questions. So I'm going to head over to the Q&A section. And we have a first question here that's coming from Jacob. And I believe this question is for you, Stanley, and you're welcome to share this question with anyone on your team, on your global markets team, if they're in a better position to respond. And the question is, what strategies do you use to evaluate risk in trading? Stanley?
Okay, thanks very much. So I can take that question. However, I think it would be a very good question for my senior traders themselves. So I will pass this question on to both Salome and Lesa. Thank you.
Okay then. Salome, would you like to go first?
Okay, sure. I don't know if you can hear me and see me.
We can, thank you.
So the question itself is a relatively broad question, right? The question I guess is how do you evaluate the risk? Okay, so risk in itself on the trading desk comes in various forms, right? Looking at different asset classes that we trade. So for instance, the simpler one being foreign exchange, say the dollar kwacha, for instance. There are several risk metrics put in place to be able to manage it. So for instance, in the past, we have seen a couple of banks go bust because their foreign exchange positions were not managed well. So in such situations, you'd realize as management and as a risk measure, there's a certain percentage of the bank's cash which can be put towards actual day-to-day trading, for instance. There's also a certain level of loss limits which have been put in place. So you cannot go beyond certain limits or certain loss triggers that are put in place on a daily or a monthly basis. So it's a generally very wide question, and different asset classes have different answers to it. I could also go into, let's say, fixed income, which has to do with your bonds and your treasury bills, where at that particular point in time, the bank will tell you cannot hold beyond a certain portion of the bank's capital in traded securities as well. So it's a relatively very broad topic on its own, which would have to probably spend a lot of time, but just to give you a glimpse of what it could be.
Thank you, Salome. Lesa, would you like to add anything to that?
Well, just a bit. Basically, our business is about risk. So as we're evaluating risk, for us to make money, we have to take on risk. So it's a balancing act, which we take on. I think that's the only addition I can add. Otherwise, Salome has pretty much covered everything.
Thank you, Lesa. So we have another question here from McPherson, and I'm going to tie that in with a question. I think I saw another question here about if you do not have. Okay, so I see here the question from McPherson. What if someone is passionately interested and has some trading knowledge, but is not doing any of the courses mentioned as a qualification? I think we have mentioned that you have to be part of these four different fields of study. But what I would like to find out perhaps from the global markets team is when you talked about, Stanley, you touched on skills and the skills gap that exists within global financial markets or in the Zambian financial market. And I'd like to know from you, and perhaps pass this to Monje, why such specificity around who can apply and these specific economics, accounting, finance? What have you seen and found that makes these a better fit for the global markets team?
I believe Monje will pick that question. Thank you.
Hi, Sekai. Hi, everyone. So, start off, the global markets team requires, at the very best, a firm understanding of the business environment within which the global markets operates in. And you sort of have an initial background in these particular specified courses that we have listed at the time that you're joining in, which would make it easy for anyone then to grasp the concepts that are found within the financial markets environment. So for now, we were limiting it to this, given the timelines that we're working with, and also to ensure that the process is seamless in terms of delivering the initiative at this stage. But obviously, with time, this is something that we might reconsider. But unfortunately for now, in order for us to have a seamless delivery, and also in order for us to ensure a firm understanding of the concepts that the participants will be challenged with, we have had to limit it to this. I'm not sure if any of the other Absa team have anything to add on to that.
So maybe I can add, Monje, this is Stanley here. So just to add on to that. So broadly, if we ask the question, for somebody to work in global markets or financial markets, do they need to have, a background of economics or accounting or finance? The answer to that is no. In fact, there are some global markets departments which actually have engineers. There are some which have people with background in law. So there are various backgrounds. For this particular one, for it being the pilot, and I think that's the point Monje was trying to bring up, this one is really the pilot. Yes, the concepts that we have in financial markets are very much around economics and the financial, the global system. So as the pilot session, we decided to move into this particular direction because we felt it would be easier and it will give us an opportunity to see how this one flows through in there. But for all purposes and intents, the idea is definitely to open it up as we move along progressively. This is by no means going to be the beginning and the end of this. This is part of the partnership which will keep going further. So we intend to open it up. We intend to bring in people from a number of other disciplines as well, because trading skills, whether you are an engineer or an accountant, you end up finding out that it's either you have it or you don't. So it doesn't necessarily limit or omit certain disciplines from here. So I hope that adds the clarity here, but we will progressively then open it up for the other disciplines. Thank you.
Fantastic. McPherson, I hope this answers your questions. I hope you're going to be following Absa and following Bongo Hive for the next stage of the Future Traders program, or the next edition that will most likely will be open to more fields of study. Thank you so much, Stanley and Monje, for sharing that. And we have another question here from an anonymous attendee that wants to know, what are your key qualities for the people that you are looking for to take up this program? And again, I'll pose this to the global markets team and maybe start again with Monje. What are some of the key qualities? What are you looking for? What kind of students do you want to see?
Sekai, let me pass this one on to Salom, our brilliant, fantastic trader.
Salom?
So I then again, I don't think a trader is cut out of, or all traders are cut out of the same cloth, right? So you'd find some people more conservative, some more aggressive like myself. And I think some of the qualities we look for is someone who doesn't give up. I mean, because you have to probably sit with a trade and run with the losses or the gains throughout the life of that trade. Someone who's a go-getter, someone who's a winner, someone who pays a bit of attention to details. I think that's a whole CV we would have to mention if we could go on. But basically, I mean, these are some of the qualities away from the academics that we'll be looking at for a good trader, I think.
Thank you, Selom. Thank you for that. I want to add by mentioning that when you go onto our application website, you see one of the very last questions letting you know you will gain a lot from this program. And we ask you, what will you do with this knowledge? What will you do with this new understanding? And we want for you to let us know what you will do. And I like to echo what Selom was saying about attention to detail. So when you see a question like that, that is a call to action. So if you say to get a career as a financial markets trader, for example, and that is the end of your sentence, that's good, but we want you to think a little more about exactly what you will do with this knowledge. What are you looking for? What are you looking to experience? What's the next step? So we want for you to show us that you are intentional in your application, that you have spent some time thinking about, oh, this is a possible career for me. So that's a little hint for those of you that are going to be applying. And we have another question here, and okay, so we have a question here from Timothy, and Timothy, I believe this question has been answered. I'm going to read it out loud, but I believe this has already been tackled by Stanley and Monje, and you're saying, I have an experience in trading with good forecasting skills in financial trade, stocks, and foreign exchange, stocks and commodities. I am willing to share some of the works I have done. I am a mining engineering student. How do I ensure that I get selected in the process? So Timothy, at the moment, we are only looking for students that have done engineering, accounting, mathematics, and finance-related fields of study. So for this particular one, unfortunately, we are focusing on these 4, but for the next edition, we foresee that it will be open even to you as a mining engineering student. I hope that this answers your question. And we have another question here from Teresa. So guys, keep those questions coming. We have about 10 more minutes to take on your questions. So if you have a question, do not wait until the end. Please post your question in the Q&A section now. So we have another question here from Teresa, and Teresa is asking, are there such programs open for graduates as this one is only limited to 3rd and 4th year students? I will take the liberty of saying we might craft something for graduates, but I'm going to open this up to Monje or Stanley. Would you like to touch on this? Are you thinking about creating a program specifically for graduates?
Okay, so I can pick this one, and then Monje can jump in as well. So again, we go back to the issue of this being a pilot. And you know, when you're putting out a pilot, you're not going to make everyone happy. You will not cater for and have everyone completely covered in the first one. So this one is really going to guide the direction in which we take. So while we have other programs in the bank, like, you know, some graduate trainee programs, which we run right across the bank, and they're not specific or limited to trading on its own, certainly this pilot is going to guide a lot of what we do, because we're going to learn from it as well. So it will not just be, you know, you, the participants, learning. We will learn, and then we will see as we tweak it that it might be even better suited to move it towards graduates. The earlier point that I made, it might be better suited to open it up to all the disciplines, including people who are studying, you know, fields which are non-mathematical at all. So it's going to reveal quite a lot. So it's going to be a two-way learning process. And that could be a possibility that we may go down that route. It really is going to depend on the success of this particular program. So I guess that's what I can say. I don't know, Monje, if you have anything to add on. Thank you.
Yeah. So to Stanley's point, we do have our Ready to Work initiative that we run, not specifically tied to the global markets, but it could be in any other area of the bank. And if you go to our Facebook page and look for the post from 2 days ago, we did actually send out a notification to invite applicants to actually log in and apply for the Ready to Work initiative.
Fantastic. Thank you, Monje. And we have a last question here from Sampa. So once again, if you have a question that you've been sitting on for the last 40 or so minutes, I ask that you post that question in our Q&A section here for us to respond to. I also want to ask Rhoda if we have any questions that are coming in from Facebook, if you could share those with us here. And I see that we have a question here from Sampa. Sampa, your question is, I'm going to start with your question that's focused on this program and then address your other question that is more generally about the global markets team. And Sampa, your question is, does the program cater for those in accounting pursuing the professional qualification, so ACCA and CIMA? Salome or Lesa, would you like to address this? And even you, Monje?
Hi, Sakai. So I think one of the qualifications that we did indicate there was accounting, and ACCA and CIMA and Zika are part of that. So yes.
Sampa, I hope that answers your question. Charles, you're saying upon being selected that 3-day sprint stage, is it going to be virtual or will it require a physical meeting? So Charles, at the beginning of the session, and I was taking us through what this program would be about, I mentioned that this will be a completely virtual engagement. So the entire program will run online. We're going to be using various tools online for the duration of this program. So if you're in Mazabuka or in Petaoke or in Winilunga, you can be a part of this program. So it's going to be running virtually. There will be no in-person sessions for this program. Sampa, you now have, I'm going to get to your question now that speaks more towards the global markets in general. And I'm going to address this question to you, Lesa. And the question from Sampa is, how do you stay focused after making a streak of bad trades?
So before Lesa comes in, let me actually say that is a very good question. And I would also like to hear the answer from Lesa and Salome myself. So I'm eagerly awaiting.
Lesa?
I've actually been very eagerly waiting for that question to be asked.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
So the question that you're being asked as the global markets team is, how do you stay focused after making a streak of bad trades?
Well, it's to start with, it's part of it. It's part of your DNA. Of course, I always say that not all days are Sundays. There are some days which are stressful. Some days you lose money, but 90% of the time, you need to make money. So of course, you're going to have ups and downs along the way.
Thank you, Lesa. So you've heard for yourself, Sampa, it has to be a part of your DNA, yes? But make sure you're making money 90% of the time. Serlon, would you like to add to that?
So yeah, I mean, as you grow older, it gets easier to take a streak of bad trades. By a couple of years back, there was a statistic to show that I think traders were amongst the highest suicide committers in the world. Right. So just to give you an idea of how stressful the job in itself can be. Right? I mean, so family time generally helps. Other traders have a lot of vices, right, that they decide to indulge in. But generally, I think a lot of family time, a lot of alone time, it helps with the stress at the end of the day.
Thank you, Serlon. So McPherson would like to know whether participants trade real money or virtual accounts. So I assume, McPherson, you're asking whether it's going to be real money or not. So we're not going to be wanting to be playing around with Absa's money. And so this will not, you will not be trading with real money during the program. Monje, would you like to add anything to that?
No, Sekai, you've answered it quite comprehensively. No real money involved. Everything will be virtual.
Fantastic. Thank you, Monje. We also have another question here. Yes,
Sekai, but probably just to confirm that the cash they are winning is not virtual, it's actual real cash.
McPherson, you've heard for yourself. The prize is not going to be virtual. That will, in fact, be real. Musonda, you're asking here, are we going to be taught about how to hedge funds and foreign currency? So without spilling too much tea and without sharing too much of what's going to be happening within the program, you will be learning a lot. I can say that you will be learning a lot. The scenarios will challenge you. And on the first day, I think we will hear from a key member of the Global Markets team that will give a lot more, shed a lot more light on exactly what takes place within their office and within the global market. Monje or anybody on the Global Markets team, would you like to speak to this, to Musonda's question on are we going to be taught how to hedge funds and foreign currency?
Yeah, I think that for that question, it's I don't know. Okay, maybe Monje can speak to that, but Lesa and Salome. Currency, definitely, you will be taught. That's one of the things that we do. However, with funds, there's a bit of a difference between the actual trading and hedge funds. The hedge funds are usually these fund managers who manage actual funds, and these are flows of money by investing into different portfolios, into different asset classes, and so on and so forth. In most of the instances, those hedge funds don't do the actual trading themselves. They'll go into trading houses, they'll go into banks, and the traders in these institutions are the ones who would be managing those specific asset classes for them. So typically that's how it would work. So we won't go to hedge funds, but definitely it would be, you know, the hedging of foreign exchange and even, you know, things like derivatives and fixed income. I don't know if any of the trading team would like to add on to that, Lesa, Salome.
Well, I think that covers that covers it.
Thank you, Lesa. Thank you, Stanley. All right, I don't see any other questions here. So like I said, if you have a question, you have a minute to put that down in the Q&A section. If not, then we will move to close. I don't see any other questions here.
Did we get any questions from Facebook?
Rhoda, would you like to confirm that for us, please?
All right. Hi, Sakai. So we have a question from Edwin on Facebook here that says, do those who just had their final year exams, fourth year, qualify?
Ooh. So if you were in fourth year in 2020 and you just wrote your exams?
Yes.
I think those would still qualify. You just must not have graduated. So come in 2020 that you are still in a third or fourth year class.
Okay, thank you. That's the only question we have so far.
Okay. So we have another question here from Jacob Mwale, and we're getting more and more into questions that are specifically focused on the global markets team. There is quite a bit of intrigue as to the work that you do, Stanley, Salome, Lesa, and Monje. Jacob here is saying, how do you stay abreast with the ever-changing financial markets? And as we are moving to close, I'll ask that we keep the responses brief.
Okay, so I can go first on that. How do we keep abreast? Definitely by reading. One of the benefits of being in global markets is the type of systems we have. You typically will not find them in the other departments in the bank. So we've got access to the real Reuters news and Bloomberg news, not the one that's on TV, but basically the digital news. So we, as and when things are happening anywhere in the world regarding any currency, any commodity, be it oil, be it gold, copper, we have it right in front of us at any given time. We've also got gadgets which we carry around, which have this information, which is also encrypted. So by reading and by having an interest in what's going on around, that's how we keep abreast. At least on my part, that is certainly what I do. Maybe Lesa and Salome can add into that as well. Thank you.
All right. Definitely reading. Reading is part of it. Basically, also you have to be live to your environment, what's happening, and also you sometimes you speculate what will happen. So suppose there's a budget presentation. You speculate certain aspects come out from the budget, right? So those are things which you just live with, but mostly it's about reading and keeping alive to information.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lesa. And we have another question. So if you are at liberty to share, if you're not, you're welcome to let us know. But if you're at liberty to share, we have a question here from Emmanuel that is, would you briefly explain your trading and portfolio management strategies? Salome, Lesa, Stanley Monje.
So the simplest way is, yes, we cannot divulge into detail what trading strategies is. But to Stanley and Lesa's previous points, we generally trade on information, right? So we chase every little information to be able to develop a strategy, around that. But we cannot come up with an exact. Everyone on Facebook will be looking on and ready to listen, I guess.
And just to add on, we can have a strategy in the morning. By midday, if new information comes on board, you have to be quick also to change your strategy. So.
Thank you for that, Lesa. We have, and this is the final question that I will take. And this question is from Nathan, and his question is, has the pandemic affected the global financial markets? And if so, how are you surviving?
I think the answer is it's yes and no. Yes, of course, it has affected the economy at large, which also has got a downstream effects to the financial markets and to global markets. And no, in the sense that it also presents some opportunities for global markets. So it's both.
The second part of that question is, how are you surviving? So has the pandemic affected the global financial markets? And if so, how are you surviving?
We live by the day.
Thank you, Lesa. Salome, I saw you were going to say something as well.
So I think one of the things we'd get out of this program is to realize that the trading world is like a coin, right? So if someone's loss is someone else's gain, right? So yes, the pandemic largely has affected all of us globally, but it's also how you play around the inroads or the opportunities that come up during such instances, and how you make the most out of it. Obviously, if you're caught on the wrong side, you would bleed, and once you're caught on the right side, you make the gains of it. But otherwise, generally, yes, we have seen it affect the global economy. Zambia, as an example, for instance, we see we see the depreciation of the currency come through, which is on the back of that. We've seen news of the government saying there's been a bit of illiquidity because we've had to take other measures to protect the populace out of the pandemic. So generally, yes, it has affected us.
Thank you, Salome. And thank you everyone for your questions, for being engaged, asking about the program, and also asking and wanting to get a better understanding of global markets. And I want to thank the global markets team at Absa for being so open with your information and sharing a bit more about your work and providing context, further context to the Future Traders program and exactly why this is important and just how exciting of a career this could possibly be for our student participants. So thank you so much for answering the questions that have been presented and being open with your information, and to the students for asking the questions and wanting to know a little better what this program is about. As a recap, you have until 11:59 p.m. on the 14th of November to submit your application. So please do so in time so that you're not left behind. And we're going to be having the sprint week on the 25th and 25th to 27th of November, where the 15 selected participants will be presented with scenarios in line with global financial markets and be tasked to provide solutions to those. And the winning team will get a prize and be mentored by individuals such as Salome, Stanley, Lessa, and Monje. So we hope that you actively apply. We've already gotten an amazing and overwhelming response to this program, so we want to thank you for that. But as we close, I just want to ask the global markets team at Absa to share just one a sentence to give people, encourage people to apply, and just let them know, give them a couple of hints. So I'll start with you, Monje, and then Lessa, Salome, and finally Stanley.
Hi, Sakai, thank you. So what I wanted to say is, look, to Stanley's point at the beginning, this is a rare opportunity. It's a first of its kind, and not only, even if you participate in the sprint and you do not make it to the top 3, what is important to understand is that you would have learned something and garnered enough knowledge then to determine what the direction of the future is going to be here on out. And we thank you very much for coming to this session and participating. It's already a step in the right direction for you. And I only hope that you have learned something already from this information session as it is. That's all from me, Sakai.
Thank you, Monje. Lessa?
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's a great initiative. I look forward to see future traders from this. Of course, the journey begins with one step. So we look forward to share our knowledge.
Fantastic, thank you.
With exciting minds.
Yes. Salome?
I think this is going to be fun. I think we're going to learn a lot together. Great things are going to happen. It's a pilot program, so it can only get better from here.
Fantastic, thank you. And finally, Stanley?
Okay, thank you. So listen, for me, this is very exciting. And for having been in the trading business for many, many years, I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Really just go in there with an open mind and give it your best shot, and then see where it basically takes you. Trading is not for everyone because by its nature, it's very, very specialized. You will be able to tell earlier on whether it's something for you or something that isn't for you. And that's a decision that you will have to make on your own, really. But this, trust me, this is exciting. This is the first in the market. Just go in there, go all out, give it your best. You never know where you end up. You might end up in a couple of years running a future traders program, and then you'll be sitting on the other end. You'll be sitting where I'm sitting, talking to some other people there. So I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Stanley. That's a great note to end today's program. So if you would like to go back to what we have shared today, this recording will be up on the Bongo Hive website. So you can go to our webinar section on the Bongo Hive website and you will have access to this recording. It will be available on our YouTube channel as well. So if you had a couple of questions, you will find these on our YouTube as well as on our website. But again, we wish you all the best. We look forward to meeting you during the Future Traders program and seeing you hopefully in the future as traders in the financial markets. So all the best, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.